And I think, Lucia, just for me, YouTube is up there in terms of being a change the world platform because it just has given everyone the ability. When you think about TV and wanting to create a TV show or do anything, you had to go to the BBC or go to Channel 4 or be commissioned. And now you can, there's literally nothing stopping you. If you've got the vision, you can make anything happen, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what it kind of like made Dan and Phil different, because at the time it wasn't like that. I feel like even though there were many YouTubers, obviously, because YouTube has been around for quite a while now, I feel like there were such big, and they are obviously still such big names in, that kind of environment, because they were among the first to do that kind of content, and therefore they became like really popular. Whereas nowadays, literally, like you said, anyone could be on YouTube and anyone is on YouTube. So if you open, there's like that many creators that even with like such a small following, they post, really amazing videos of them just like living their life and just doing like daily vlogs. So yeah, like I feel now it's a lot more reachable. Whereas at the time, obviously you could still do it, but it was something that you wouldn't necessarily do it. Yeah.
It's so funny, and when you talk about personalities, I always have reference points, and my reference points would be Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is Larry David, who's the writer of Seinfeld, earned reportedly earned around 400 million from writing Seinfeld, and HBO wanted him to do another TV series, and he was like, "Why would I? I've got like 400 in the bank." But he basically just sort of said, "You can just like follow me around. I'm not going to write anything. It's unscripted, and it's his personality and the show, the journey that it goes on. But it's all unscripted with his friends, and it's so simple. It's just the power of his personality that makes the show so brilliant, and it's turned into this incredible sort of show that he does. He still sort of writes the outline of an episode. I don't know if you've watched any Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes; they're absolutely brilliant. But it just really shows that you've got this platform now. If you've got personality, you can turn yourself into a superstar, can't you, Adam?
Yeah, definitely, because it is just all about the personalities nowadays. A little bit the looks as well, but you got to have that. You got to be able to reach your audience and keep up with the times as well, which they definitely have done as well. I think going back to Dan and Phil, they've launched definitely a career as well off of it, and they've done stage shows and everything. So yeah, it's just personality. That's what sells.
That's really interesting that you touch on that, actually, because now, when you think about a podcast, the way they make money now is by taking it out on tour and doing tours and getting people to pay tickets. That's the main one, and that moves us nicely onto a chat about Spotify, because Adam, you've written this piece again, but it's something that we can all talk about. I've actually cancelled Spotify recently, just in kind of like, it's just gone up and up, and it's gone up again, hasn't it, Adam? It went from 10.99 to 11, and now it's gone up again. Just tell me a little bit about what's happening with Spotify.
Yeah, well, it was 9. I didn't even know it had gone up because I actually controversially, I use Apple Music. But yeah, it was 9.99 for the longest time, well over a decade, and then I think like 2023 it went up by £1, and then £1 again in 2024, and then now it's going up to 12.99, which that is quite I think it's like an 8% increase year on year, so it really is a lot. And I mean, we talk about like the cost of living crisis just in the wider scheme of things, but I do wonder, what is this going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? I mean, you've obviously cancelled it, Simon. I wonder if a lot more people will as well now.
So I also use Apple Music. That's why I had both. My son wanted Spotify. I've only ever used free Spotify, but he wanted the premium so it doesn't have ads. But I'm Apple. I have Alexas everywhere. Lucia, what are your thoughts on Spotify? Do you use it? Do you pay for the premium or what?
Yes, I use it and I pay for the premium, but I am considering at this point, because obviously $12.99 is quite a big amount for what it is. They do say, as Adam wrote in the article, they do say that it is justified because they want to introduce like new tools within the app. So they've got like an AI integration now and a messaging service inside of Spotify. But I don't think it's stuff that you need really. I think but the vast majority of the users are just gonna go there to listen to the music. And the AI part of it, which is obviously, you know, the statistics or the personalized playlists that they gave you and all of that, are also like, yes, they are important to the experience, but not really, because the vast majority of people will just go there to just listen to what they want to listen to. And they're not maybe that open to recommendations. So yeah, I might be considering to switch into Apple Music as well.
Well, there's some fascinating numbers in your article, Adam. There's over 15 million users in the UK. So that's a pretty chunky, nice pay rise for Spotify. And another thing that you pointed out is it doesn't filter down to the musicians. See, do you remember what you said about what the musicians are earning, Adam? That's
it was like 2023. It was only it was like 14,000. I didn't even think it was 14,000. That was working musicians, which I know will go to obviously everything else. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of money spent in the UK on music is through these streaming services. I mean, vinyl is ticking up, which I also said, but I think it's less than a penny they get per stream, these artists, and that is a big topic. I mean, Taylor Swift, she didn't release her music on Spotify for the longest time, did she? So, you know, will this rise sort of bring that into question again?
I think that's one of the other reasons why I sort of took umbrage with them charging more, because Lucia, you touched on it. You know, they're talking about all these additional things. I'm like, we don't need those things. So don't charge me more money for something that I haven't asked for. It's kind of like enforcing it upon us. We just want to listen to music. I would happily have paid that extra £1 if they sort of said we're going to increase the percentage that the musicians would get. Then you're kind of buying into it a little bit more. So I'm not quite sure they're reading the room on that at the moment. So yeah, it's really interesting. But let's just talk about vinyl, because I've got a record player sat right next to me, and I've got a record collection which I've had to rebuild because my initial record collection was damaged in a flood in my garage, which more for me for having it in the garage, but still. That was a bit of my soul broke there, because that was the record collection that I started when I was like 13. So, and it was all warped. So I've started again. But what are your thoughts on vinyl? Because I love going into a shop and flicking through and trying to find the bargains. And is that something that you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a record player, and even though my collection of records is quite small, I don't have many. I feel like it's got everything that I need. There's a little bit of Beatles, a little bit of Bowie, a little bit of like modern artists, let's just say more contemporary artists. And I really do enjoy playing music on my record player, which is interesting if we consider what we were just saying with Spotify. About what we were saying before, people just go and listen what they want to listen, and they don't really they're not really interested in the recommendations. It's the same thing with the record player. So you just put on your record, you just listen to that, and then you're not even bothered by the fact that at some point you'll have to get up and just like turn the disc and then the vinyl and then just like play the other side. I think it's pretty interesting. It's really nice that we've gone back to this kind of like analog way to listen to music, and it's just part of the experience. It's not just about listening to the music, but it's also, like you mentioned, going to the record store and flicking through the albums and then choosing an album and bring it home. It's very nice. Yeah.
What about you, Adam?
I think I'm a bit more newfangled in the sense of I love exploring new music, which I feel like because of the price of vinyls, you kind of, you know, if you are flicking through things, you know, do I really want to be paying £40 for an album that I might not like? At least that's my thinking. So I love how, you know, on Apple Music, on Spotify, you do have just all of those songs there, and you do have those recommendations, those AI recommendations and such, that I can, you know, expand my music taste and all, you know, the same as I was sort of saying with the movies, you know, especially like foreign music, especially, you know, when I was studying, I really wanted to get into my German, French, and Chinese music, you know, to try and hear the sounds and stuff, which, you know, when you go into a record shop, you're not really going to find those things because there just isn't really a market for it here. Whereas when it's online, I can stream it. It's all there. It's all available.
I think I think for me, it's all about a balance. You know, there's certain times when I want certain music, but I'm definitely finding myself gravitate towards wanting imperfection. I'm quite happy to hear how it was recorded and a bit of crackle, but I don't want that at all times. If you've got friends and a party, then you want the show, or the echo devices where people can see the lyrics and to turn your bar into a karaoke. Sorry, I've got an outdoor bar. I've got 2 bars actually. Yeah, look, I think it's just I definitely, I can feel myself gravitating towards like CDs as well. I bought like a CD player, and again, maybe not vinyl. I'm kind of with you, Adam. I'm not a massive fan of spending a lot of money on vinyl. I'm more of a fan of going into a charity shop and flicking through what's in there and seeing if you can find a little nugget that's just been given away. So that's really good. And one little story: there's a band that I used to love when I was a teenager called Ride. And I went to see them at the O2 Academy in Leeds a couple of years ago, and they just played one of their albums from start to finish. So they didn't play like a mix of songs. And it was their famous album that was called Nowhere, and that was amazing because the whole place was full of people that remember that album exactly how they played it. And it was just incredible, like to see a gig like that, remembering, because you don't do that anymore, do you? You shuffle music or you listen, it's just a shuffle of everything. So that was a real sort of like experience that I thoroughly recommend.
Yeah, well, that sounds like National Album Day, I think it was called, on the 18th. I think that was what that was all about, the art of the album. It was trying to promote that and trying to listen through to the entire album. I think it was Adele who got Spotify's to change it so you could play the album in order, so that's a big thing that artists have also campaigned for. So listening through, I'm trying to think the last time I've actually listened, to an entire album. I think it was Lord, actually, a Melodrama, but maybe I think I might take that away and try and listen, more albums, start to finish, the entire thing, and listen, intently because these artists, they do it, they're trying to tell a story with their albums, and I think you do sometimes have to listen to the entire thing to get it, rather than just mindlessly going on a walk and just putting it on shuffle.
There's you're going to kick me here, and I haven't done the research on this because we didn't know we were going to be talking about it, but there's a Streets album, an album by the Streets. It might be his second or his third one, where you have to listen to it. It's the one that's got Dry Your Eyes on it, mate. That became a big sort of hit. And the whole story from start to finish is like one story across 12 songs, and it's just incredible. You listen to that on shuffle and you have no idea what's going on. It demands that you listen to it, and I'd hugely recommend it. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, I think we're going to wrap things up there. That's been a really good to see you, and lots of talking points. And we will be back again next week for more of the same. And thanks for joining me, Lucia.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Great to see you as well, Adam. Love the new hair. Looking very
thank you. It might be a different colour next time, though. So
good man. Keep the viewers on their toes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Don't remember to subscribe and get involved in the comments if you want to sort of like give some reaction or tell us what you want us to talk about. And we'll be back again next week. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.